What's up, snobs? Happy Wine Down Wednesday, and I hope you enjoyed my live tonight as we wrapped up those rosés. I was super excited to try the Wolf Estate. Hopefully it was good. This is pre-recorded, so I don't even know. But my last couple of Wine Down Wednesdays, what was happening is people were asking me how long wines last after you open them, because I was explaining why I like to do one wine per week. So they were asking me that, and I decided that I would do a wine tip of the week, and my wine tip of the week would be, how long do wines last? So let's start with the one that doesn't last the longest, and that is the sparkling. Yes, sparkling wines only last 1 to 3 days, and that is because sparkling wines lose their carbonation, aka the bubbles. And when you're storing it, you want to store it with a wine stopper. Usually when you pop the cork on sparklings, they expand, so you can't use those anyway. So you want to make sure you have a wine stopper. And shout out to my brother Corazon the Great, who bought me a wine stopper for my birthday. I'm so excited to use it. But back to sparklings. You want to store them in the fridge with the wine stopper for 1 to 2 days. I recommend always drinking sparklings earlier, the first day, than the last day, because what'll happen is they'll tend to go flat. And just like flat soda and flat wine, it's drinkable, but it's not that great. Now, moving on to light body whites and rosés. Light body whites are your Rieslings, the things that are lighter in body, and of course rosés. These wines are made with more sugar and have more sugar, higher sugar content, and sugar stops the oxidation process. So they last about 5 to 7 days after they've been opened. So this wine is the wine that typically lasts the longest, and that's because sugar slows down the oxidation process. And how you would store those is you would take the wine cork. I always save my wine corks. Take the wine cork, plug it back in there, put it in the fridge, and you can store it for 5 to 7 days. But please note that the flavors will change on the first day, and you will notice a flavor change on the first day. And that's with all wines. You will notice a flavor change on the first day. Now, we did the light bodies and the rosés. We're gonna go into the heavier bodies. These are like your Chardonnays. With those, they have less sugar in them, so they don't last as long as the light bodies and the rosés. These last for 3 to 5 days. The reason why is because there's less sugar the sugar, like I said, sugar stops the oxidation process. And oxidation is basically when air hits the wine, causing the wine to break the alcohol in wine to break down and basically turn into like vinegar, and it will change your taste as well as how the wine physically looks. The more oxidized a wine gets, the darker it gets in color. Even with reds, you'll notice reds will turn into like an almost orangey color, and whites will be more golden color. But the part about it that you want to be wary about is that it changes the flavoring on it, and it goes bad. So moving on to reds, since I started previewing reds. Now, red wines also have less sugar in it, so they are the same, 3 to 5 days. Now, here's the thing about red wines. Red wines do great with air. And so if you have a bottle of red that you're gonna open up the next day after, plugging it with the cork, you'll notice that it tastes better. Unlike the whites, which the taste will be a little bit more off-putting, the reds will actually taste better after a day or two. But it will go bad like everything else, and it will go through the oxidation process. And so about 3 to 5 days is the recommended for red, and that is just because of, you know, less sugar in reds. Also, the body and the amount of tannings depend on how long it lasts. So any full body cabs or Syrahs will be more on the 3 side, but lighter bodies like Pinot Noirs, they'll be more on the 5 side, on the 5-day side. Now, moving on. Oh, I didn't tell you how to store it. Same way that you would store the whites, you would put the cork back in. Keep your corks, guys, keep your corks. But instead of storing it in a fridge like you would do the whites and the sparklings, you would store it in a cool, dry place, i.e. countertops. Now, let's get into the fortified wines. The fortified wines, these are your sherries and your ports. These have high sugar in them, and a lot of them are cut with brandy, and that causes it to have a longer shelf life. You can have those open and stored in a cool, dry place as long as they're corked, or most of them come with a screw cap so you can screw it back on. And as long as they're corked or screwed back on, you can have those for 28 days after being open before they eventually go bad and start to turn into vinegar. So you can have those for a long time, and like I said, it's the sugar, the high sugar and the brandy that causes those to last longer. And then you have specialty, which is i.e. box wines. Those wines typically are vacuum sealed, so all the air is out of it, and they're stored. The packaging that they have, it's meant for that wine. So those wines can last you 28 days as well before they start to go bad. And normally you would just keep them in the packaging that they're in, because those packagings are what you want to store it in. And that's the reason why you can have them for so long. Now that you know, wine does go bad. It will go bad. The air causes wine to go bad. Too much air will cause it to turn into like a vinegar. It will have a smell, an odor. You will know. It will have a different color. You will know. It will be cloudy. You will know when wine has gone bad and it's starting to turn into that like almost vinegar. But what I recommend, after you open a wine, try and drink it the next day, because it's better. Wine is always better when you drink it sooner, especially for like sparklings and light body and full body whites and reds. So try and drink them. The sooner the better. And if you can't drink them, there's a whole bunch of stuff that you can do with wine afterwards, cook with it, all kinds of stuff. But that's not the tip, so I will leave that for another day. But I thank you all for joining me for my wine tip of the week. I hope that this was helpful, and I can't wait to see you all next week. Have a good one. Bye now.